What's going on, everyone? Hope you guys are having a great day. Here I want to talk to you guys about Stellar Lumens on today's show and why I think they're gearing up for certainly an upward tick of momentum, potentially a moonshot here as we approach some upcoming events, which I'll talk to you guys about, some other tweets that I've seen that have given me some other inkling to this potential as well. And then we'll take a look at the technical charts so you guys can sort of see it for yourself and sort of enhance why I believe Stellar Lumens is really gearing up for a nice upward trajectory here, at least for the next couple of weeks. As always, the opinions here are my own and should not be taken as financial advice, so please keep that in mind. But we're going to just go through some of this evidence here and some of these, call it news if you want, and at the end, you guys can make your own decisions. So I caught this tweet as I was browsing around the other day. This was Joe Lang, who is the offering leader in universal payments and markets at IBM. Now, she tweeted out, "Join IBM blockchain, Sibos, as we discuss blockchain for payments, crypto, FX with Stellar, TD Bank, and Click Exec." Or Click X. So, not a huge monumental tweet of any kind. Not really getting a lot of movement. Just in the Twitter space. Granted, it's not really geared up for financial individuals, more so celebrities and things like that. But that was then retweeted by Lisa Nestor, who is the director of partnerships at Stellar. She said very excited in that retweet. So it looks to be that there are some potential, I don't want to necessarily call it a partnership at this point because that would maybe be putting the carriage before the horse, but a potential for a working arrangement here coming between IBM and Stellar. It may be brewing or maybe on the horizon, given that Stellar has partnered with companies like Bext 360 and offering payment settlements to other individuals in a format obviously that is more geared towards coffee and in kind of a Coinstar machine. But if that's the kind of use that Stellar sees itself in the future, which is what they do, they see themselves as, we have Ripple and Stellar. They're very similar, and Ripple actually is going to be at the Sibos conference here in the next couple of weeks, and also maybe a good token to keep your eye on. But Stellar is, while Ripple sort of plays into the banking and enterprise level payment settlement area, Stellar looks to do it more on the individual or business to individual type of area. So it looks to be a little more smaller scale, not necessarily as widespread or at least as enterprise ready as Ripple would be, but it definitely is something that you should keep an eye on, and they kind of go in tandem, or at least Ripple and Stellar do when it comes to payment settlement services and things like that. But this was the article that was also included here in this tweet from Joe Lang. And you can see here IBM blockchain, which of course they're doing everything they can in the research space when it comes to blockchain to hopefully adopt it in the future themselves. But you see here I've highlighted it'll be Jed McCaleb, who is the co-founder and CTO of the Stellar Development Foundation. This is an interesting development, if you will, that or an interesting rumor. Buy the rumor, sell the news. This could be a good chance to get in at the beginning of a potentially a pretty good run up, depending on kind of how things go, what additional news comes out, and maybe we'll even get a leg up once we get to the conference and hear the news that comes out. But that said, I think leading up into that moment, we're going to have a nice run up. So if you guys don't know what Sibos is, it's a big fintech conference that this place is taking place in Toronto. It'll be on the 16th and 19th of October, so here in a couple of weeks. So we're going to get a lot of run up, I think, with players in the fintech space. So Ripple actually has a booth here, or at least they're giving some type of presentation at the Sibos conference, and is definitely one to keep an eye on. I think Trevon James actually put out a video on Ripple today, kind of discussing more of the maybe the fundamentals, or not necessarily the fundamentals, but more the technical analysis side of what Ripple is, but they're presenting, and they could have some great news as we approach this Sibos conference. But at the same time, they may put out some kind of crappy news, and it may completely fall off the shelf. But in any case, it makes sense that Stellar would be a part of this conference. Now, they don't have a booth, they don't have a presentation, they don't have any type of event that they are holding. But again, with Ripple and Stellar being similar in the payment settlement space, it would make sense that they would at least have an opportunity to come in and either give a presentation or just be a part of the conference in some manner. And they're certainly doing it with a major player in IBM. So like I said, good news to see for Stellar, as they have just had a pretty rough 4 or 5 months here ever since May, June timeframe. But now let's get into the technicals of it, because what we're already seeing is maybe the beginning rumblings of this to sort of take off, or at least have this next run up. Now, I don't know how high it's going to go here, but you can see based on the the 50-day moving average, we've been in pretty much a bear market ever since what is this late June. It's never really been able to get back above that 50-day moving average, and has really fallen quite far down below it. You can even see it here in the RSI. It has just been just hanging out pretty low here. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of strength to get it and push it back up over some of these various support levels that it's been able to find here and there. Here it found some support for a little while. It also found a little more support right here for a little while, but it's just kind of been legging down these support levels really ever since that June time frame. But it happens, right? Like it had some big news. Obviously, the Bext 360 news came out right in early, right around April timeframe. That gave it a nice run up. But then it just some more news kept coming out, and it kept growing. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to sustain it. It was kind of a little bit too early to really get excited about Stellar and what they're looking to do here long term. They're getting there. It's an early project. They may or may not be able to stay around long term, but they're kind of right around the same total supply as Ripple, and actually less of a circulating supply than Ripple as well. And these are both Ripple and Stellar are both centralized blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies. So I don't want to give you guys the impressions that this is something that isn't being controlled by some type of third party. These are these are cryptocurrencies that are centralized in a manner that gives them an opportunity to be adopted by the mainstream. And whether we like it or not, a lot of these technologies, if we want to see them adopted and participate in the actual rewards that will come in participating or being investors, we're going to have to see centralization for the banking institutions. They're not going to necessarily just trust a decentralized solution. That's pretty unlikely. But in any case, let's get into a little bit more of the developments here as of late. So pull out the Bollinger Bands, and you can see, obviously we had that high volatility back there in that May and June timeframe. But as we've sort of trickled down here, that volatility has been coming to pretty much a creeping halt. Now, one thing I like to see is breaking above this 50-day band and holding there. Now, if Stellar can hold above this 50-day band, this 50-day moving average, plus keep the strength index high, we could be looking at a nice bull run for the next couple of weeks. And I think that could be a good opportunity to again get in on the the ground level of the next big run up for Stellar. So support lines that we're going to need to break through. We've already broken through this one, which is right around 400. Call it. Yeah, right around 400, the 400 Satoshi line. The next big one we'll have to break through is going to be this support line, which it looks to be right around 600. Call it 616 for now. We'll call it 600, because a lot of these support lines or these resistance lines, they're going to be in areas that are generally even numbers, or just because we have people who are trading these on a daily basis. That's who we always have to think about, that are actually trading these. So this could be a next resistance line to get through here, but we've already, like I said, we've already broken through this resistance line at around 400 Satoshis. If we can break above that, stay above the estimated, the 50-day estimated moving average, and then continue to break these, sort of one at a time, you might be able to take advantage, buying, at each of these spots as it breaks through, just setting your buy opportunities just after that. And of course, setting your stop losses in case it were to say fall down. But overall, the technicals are looking fairly good. It was coming into a wedge pattern anyway, kind of here over the last few months. Starting from right around here, we had this sort of falling down, and then we had this one coming in to pinch it down here, and that's what's led us to this next big run up here, or at least breaking out of that trend, and should hopefully continue on and upward. So like I said, guys, I think that Stellar looks to be a pretty good buy overall, at least at this point in time, at least a speculative one, and one that, maybe I wouldn't put a ton into, but if you wanted to hold it and hang on to it and see what happens with this conference, I definitely think there's an opportunity to make a quick buck, maybe a couple. But again, you want to do your own research. Make sure you guys understand what Stellar is looking to do. They've got a nice team. It's a non-profit organization and a lot of advisors and just a big team. You want to see bigger teams when it comes to cryptocurrencies, because we have so many cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology companies that are coming out, and they're very, very small teams, 3 and 4 man shops. I think Redcoin was a single developer. So when we think about those types of cryptocurrencies and the success they're having or lack thereof, and we look at others like Stellar or Ripple or really anything within the top 50, you have legitimate established teams who are doing a lot of work to really build these up and take these to the next level, establish good partnerships, establish just good technology and good fundamentals for their coins or their cryptocurrencies in order to take them up to the next phase of what they're looking to achieve long term. So that's it for me, guys. Like I said, Stellar looks to be a pretty good buy. Ripple's probably one to take a look at as well, seeing as that they're a part of the Sibos conference. You want to say concert? I don't get why. But both of those, with a big fintech conference coming up, ultimately, these are the buying the rumor days of how of when you want to take advantage. So if you're doing pretty short-term trading, could be a good opportunity. If you get out there and you see some additional research or do some additional research and you see some news that is even more exciting, you want to hold long-term, that'd be great. This would definitely be probably a decent time to hold long-term. I wouldn't say forever long-term, but, if you were one of those individuals who bought back here in March, kind of hoping for a big breakout, obviously you were rewarded for that. But now I don't know if we'll get another big run-up like that, but it is possible. It's very possible. This was pretty unhealthy, as you can see, sort of the overall trend of Stellar leading up to that point in time shouldn't have merited that type of run-up so quickly, which is why it has really fallen down basically to not its all-time low, but pretty darn close. So anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope you thought this information was useful or beneficial in some way. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any other information coming up about the Sibos conference, let me know. I'd be happy to cover it here. Like I said, could be some good opportunities for trading, or at least buying and holding here as we approach that conference, and then just even selling it off before the conference might be not such a bad thing. Now, you might miss out on some games, but at least you potentially miss out on any major losses. But then again, you should be using your stop losses, because you should be using good exchanges and not some of the crappier ones out there in order to help stave off any of those, like I said, major losses that may come when these types of news breaks. If it ends up being bad news, everyone will sell, but at least you'll have your stop losses in play. So that's it for me, guys. Check out Stellar, check out Ripple. Could be a good buying opportunity. But until next time, do your own research, disregard fiat, acquire Bitcoin, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.